One of the crew told us that there was a burning boat about 8 miles offshore. We went out to her. The sea was breaking high. Rowed off about a quarter of a mile from the Morro Castle. We brought 67 in, all alive. The dead people we did not take.
Whole books have been written about the Morro Castle fire. This is a brief summary. The Morro Castle and its sister ship, the Oriente, were built in 1930 for service on the Ward Line's New York-Havana route. About 3 a.m. Saturday, September 8, 1934, the Morro Castle was 5 hours away from New York, having left Havana 3 days earlier. A fire of unknown origin started in the passenger area and spread quickly throughout the ship. The radio room was able to send just a single SOS before power was lost. After some delay, Acting Captain Worms gave the order to abandon ship. The mismanaged and ill-trained crew were able to launch only half of the lifeboats, most only partially filled, and those mostly with crew. The remaining passengers were left to jump into the stormy waters. Attempts to tow the burning ship failed, and it drifted all day Saturday before running aground in front of the convention hall on the boardwalk at Asbury Park, New Jersey. There, even before the fires were out, it quickly became a tourist attraction.
We come aboard our boat at 6 o'clock this morning. One of the crew told us there was a boat burning offshore about 8 miles. We called the Coast Guard and asked them if we could be of any assistance to them. They said yes. Get right off as quick as you can. We put out about 6:30, headed right for the Morro Castle. The city of Savannah steamer standing by asked us to go ashore and look for her 2 lifeboats that had 25 passengers off the Morro Castle. We ran ashore about 1.25 miles and ran into people in the water, swimming around. We picked up about 15 and an army plane flew overhead, asked us, beckoned to us to come and and follow him. We followed him for a short distance and ran into about 20 more people in the water. We picked them up. In all, we picked up 67 people alive. We did not bother with the dead. We seen about 100 floating all around us.
I was awakened by smoke, and just about that time, the steward came down to my room and fastened my life belt around me and told me to go up on deck. There was a small fire. Just as I went out of my stateroom, all the lights went out. There was quite a bit of confusion. People that were calm weren't so calm after everyone else got hysterical. And we were taken up to one deck, and the flames were driven back toward us, and we were taken down to another deck. And then the smoke was terrible. Everyone was choking and couldn't breathe. I buried my nose in the sleeve of my coat. And then we were there for quite some time, and it got so bad that everyone was told to jump overboard. And I was in the water from 4:30 in the morning until 11 o'clock when I was picked up by a fishing boat.
Once the fires were out, the dead removed, and the excitement over, the problem became what to do with the hulk. Salvage crews boarded her, making fast tow lines and removing pieces, perhaps to lighten her. But the ship held fast to the beach. Winter storms loosened the stern of the Morro Castle, but the bow still held firm. Finally, in March 1935, 2 large tugboats were able to free the ship and bring it to lower New York Harbor for evaluation. There was talk of rebuilding her as a Navy ship, but in the end she was taken to the scrappers in Baltimore. The Oriente, the Morro Castle's sister ship, got a major refurbishment in 1939 and continued to sail the New York-Havana route. She served as a troop ship in World War II and was scrapped in the 1950s.
On a gloomy September morning, the world was shocked by news of one of the worst marine disasters in history, the burning of the Morro Castle. Newspaper men jumped from their beds and raced to the scene of horror, where scores of hapless luxury liner passengers had been burned to death. So absorbed were they in ferreting out the details and causes of the gigantic tragedy that they all but overlooked the tremendous part played in rescue work by the Coast Guard. The cutter Tampa rushes to the scene to assist in one of the most horrible and demanding jobs of rescue she's ever been called upon to face. And here she is standing by. Here's a 75-foot patrol boat fighting heavy seas to reach the blazing death ship. Dozens of Coast Guard craft from Cape May to Sandy Hook, a stretch of 80 miles, are out in full force. Trucks rush the lifeboats along the beach to points nearest the Morro Castle, and here the boats are launched through the ugly surf. 2 lifeboats from the Shark River Coast Guard Station were first on the scene. 164 survivors owe their lives to the Coast Guard. They pulled from the water 110 of the 157 persons taken to New York by the merchant vessel. During the day, 54 more were rescued, and the bodies of 25 unfortunates recovered. Scores had jumped from this raging hulk, some never to live again, others to be plucked from the jaws of death by the tireless, desperate toil of the Coast Guard crew. Along the shore, Coast Guard boats battled the surf, looking for survivors who had had the strength to swim for it. The cutter Tampa, like a white angel of mercy, stands by to tow the blazing ship and to take off the living of her crew. Some of the victims succeed in swimming ashore and are pulled from the surf. 15 survivors owe their lives to the Coast Guard Beach Patrol. Another victim, burned, exhausted, half-drowned, reaches shore and is helped to the beach by the Coast Guard. Many became unconscious a short distance from shore and would have drowned, but for the swift efforts of these alert crews. Prompt work of resuscitation by the beach patrol saved many lives. The Tampa takes the Morro Castle in tow, but not for long. She breaks the hawser and flounders toward the beach. And here she is, beached at Asbury Park, her fire still smoldering, her twisted steel a mute testimony of one of the great sea tragedies of modern times. Along these decks raged an inferno that sent many overboard into the pitiless sea, a sea that was staging its own rough show, adding to the horror, making rescue work difficult. Small wonder, then, that one half-drowned victim, snatched from oblivion by a lifeboat crew, gasped over and over in his hysteria, "Thank God for the Coast Guard."